Yeah, last session we were discussing about call by value and call by reference. I'll continue the same topic today also. Okay, so we'll see this is a very important subject. Call by value, call by reference, very important subject. Like we deal here with how to pass arguments and how to have return type. And right now getting the idea about now how return keyword plays a very important role in programming now. It's a very important keyword in programming and it alters the flow. It is called as a control statement. It returns the control from the callee to control caller, and it is used for what now? Return keyword you have to observe very carefully. It is used for return keyword is used for termination of execution in a method, as well as it is used to return a value from callee to caller. So when you are returning a value from callee to caller, you can return primitive values also, or you can return user defined data also, both. So that's what we are focusing. Okay. So anyway, some overall summary is what? How to send different kind of arguments, how to send different type of, means how to accept different type of arguments in different kind of parameters, and how to have return type for a method, and how to accept the return type in the caller method. This is the whole summary. So when you want to do that, it depends now, because there are so many data types. Depending on the data types, things will work here. Okay. So the different data types in Java are what? The different data types in Java are primitive types. Primitive data types store what value? Primitive values. Be careful with this. So that's why when you give a value from a primitive variable, primitive value will be given. Okay. The other one is derived types. The other data type is derived types, but it will be containing reference. Address of the array, no, it will be having reference, it will have. Similarly, you have user defined types. User defined data types. So user defined data types are which one? We are seeing the first one, but we will be seeing more later. Class, subclass, abstract class, even interface. In fact, later on you will understand the subject. You can send an enum also as an argument. That we'll see later. This is a new introduction. Enum is also one more data type. Yeah. Right now we'll focus with these four. Later on we'll see. So these are the user defined data types. All these data types you can send as what? Arguments. Okay, and you can accept them as parameters, and also you can have them as return type. Primitive is very easy. We finished it off very fast. There's nothing in primitive. We saw how to pass int as argument, double as argument, how to have int as return type, double as return type, boolean as return type. We finished with this. So here it works purely on call by value. So this works on call by value. See, today if you are having any doubts, ask. I will be completing the subject of call by value and call by reference. But anyway, I will be finishing it only class data type. Later on when I teach you subclass, abstract class, interface, enum, that also I will pass and show you. You will understand it. But you should get the idea about what is call by value and call by reference today. So these two will work on, all this will work on call by reference. So be careful with your data type. So that's why you have to observe your parameters very carefully. Based on your parameter you have to send the arguments. Understood? Ready-made classes will be there, but based on the parameters you have to go on sending the arguments. So I'll be showing you this today. I've shown you how to pass the array. No? Derived type is nothing but which one? Array. Your derived type is the array. An example for derived type is array. So it will be working on call by reference. There is only one derived type in Java. There is only one derived type. So primitive, how many types are there? How many types are there? 8. What are they? Byte, short, int, long, float, double, char and boolean. For all this it is call by value. Getting the subject now? For if you pass any of these, it is call by value. If you pass the array, call by reference. If you pass this, call by reference. Clear? And one more thing, if you declare a variable of primitive type, declare a variable int I. So the amount of memory allocated will vary now, depending on the data type what you have chosen. If it is int, 4 bytes of memory is allocated. If it is a short, 2 bytes. If it is byte, 1 byte. If it is float, 4 bytes, like that, depending on your data type, memory will be allocated. But here you will be declaring what? And here your variable is called as what? Primitive variable. Here your variable is called as primitive variable, and here your variable is called as reference variable. Here your variable is called as reference variable. Your reference variable can be of array type, your reference variable can be of class type, your reference variable can be of subclass type, all that we'll see later. But if I write a box B, B is a reference variable of type box. So 8 bytes of memory will be allocated. For it's standard now. For any reference variable, 8 bytes of memory will be allocated. It's standard. You don't have to worry about it. Let it be of test T because it's going to store address now. So it will not bother. So for any reference variable, 8 bytes of memory will be allocated. More about memory I'll be talking later. When I complete some more classes, I'll be giving you in-depth information about how things are getting executed in the JVM. More about memory I'll tell you. But just I told you the amount of memory allocated for these different kind of variables. Clear this? So I'll continue with programming today again. Okay, we'll see how to do call by value and call by reference. I'll just explain the previous program again to you. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Shall I clear all this now? So Java is very rich in data types. That's what you have to understand. And language should be very rich in data types, else we will not use that language for programming. Understood? This is one of the most important feature of what? A language. There are 9 things what we studied now about a language. What? Keywords, literals. In that data types we are continuing actually. We are continuing with data types. In fact, I had covered only primitive types that time. We saw there were 9 things now. Keywords, literals, control statements. Okay, all those things. So in that we are covering data types. I had completed only primitive. Now we are moving to user defined. So we are still continuing with the language itself. Among the 9 things, in that one of the thing is data type. And you can see Java is very rich in data types also. At the same time they are very powerful also. At the same time they are very user friendly. And we only bother about allocating memory for them. In Java we don't bother about deallocating the memory for user defined data type here. That's how so rich it is. Clear? So I'll continue with coding only today. Shall I remove all this now? You have any questions here? Okay. So I say theoretically it's very easy. I can draw a table, I can classify, but we have to understand all this with what? Examples only. So all the examples what we are learning here are not output based examples, they are concept based examples. So you should never see an example here as output. You should see the example here as concept. Because you are learning concepts, you are not learning how to get out. You know about the concept, now anybody can get the output. So first learn concepts. Now it's very easy to get the output, but you do reverse. You get output and then you try to understand what? Concept. That is very difficult. Output also how you will get? By halting, which is not a right approach. So let's see now. I'll write class demo. Okay. I mean it's assumed that you have written which classes? Box class and test class. You want me to write that? Last class I wrote class box and class test. Those 2 classes also should be ready. Okay. So if class box and class test are there, I am showing you how to do call by value and call by reference. Are you following now? Those 2 classes should be ready now, because if you want to use a data type, the data type should be existing now. So prepare class box and class test, keep it, and then we'll see how to, or shall I write class box and class test? No need, no. You have seen the class box and class test, no, last class. So you can use the same classes. This class. Assuming that this class is present now, I'll be using this now. So class box, it will have WHND, one constructor with 3 parameters, one volume method, and one more class what we will be using in our example is test class. So that is another class. So this is how it looks now. So these are the 2 classes we'll be using now to do call by reference. And if you are observing again what we are doing, we are learning how to write more data types. More data types means how to write multiple classes. We are writing parallelly, we are learning many things. Parallelly we are seeing how to write many classes. Parallelly we are seeing learning encapsulation. Parallelly we are learning call by reference. So many things we are moving ahead together. So, but in this example focus is call by reference. In this example what we are focusing is called by reference. But parallelly many things are getting covered. Okay, so let's see this now. Public static void main you will write. You'll have your main method. Once you write your main, so in the same class, now I'll write the methods here. I can have a method called as M1 na? And I'll pass what? Which variables are used? PQ parameter. What are the parameters I used? Okay, I didn't, primitives I told you. No, for primitives, passing primitives as argument. You know how to pass primitives as argument now? So I'll just show you int x, int y. I'll take PQ, it will be easy. PQ. So here I'll write int x is equal to 15, int y is equal to 20. Now I'll send these two values to M1 method. How will you send? Static void. First, I'll learn how to work with primitives. X and y I'll send. And you can SOP, P and Q. If you print, it will be printing 15 and 20 only. But I'll manipulate P into is equal to 2, Q divided by is equal to 2. Now if you print SOP, P, SOP, Q, 30 and 10. This is how it gets executed. But if you make any manipulations here, it will not affect X and Y. So 1 second. If you print earlier X and Y, it will not affect this. Are you clear with this? Do you have any questions with this program? If you have questions, simply work what? Locally. If you have questions, best thing is what you do? Locally work. X, Y is there now. Now declare local variable here itself. PQ. Assign the values to. First work locally, man. You manipulate P into is equal to 2. Q divided by is equal to 2. Work with this. If you have understood this, this is very easy. Understood now? Do you have any questions here? So I'll move to user defined type now. So any changes done to print, because here when you call M1 method, whatever value is there in X is given to P, whatever value is there in Y is given to Q. Same thing happens, but the type of value is primitive value. So what happens, this assignment operator or argument passing, what they do, whatever value is there in the variable, it is giving it to the parameter, or to the, means in assignment operator, left hand side value is given to right hand side. So left hand side is a value, right hand side is a variable. This is how it works in assignment operator. But in argument and parameter, we say, okay, the argument will give the value to parameter. That's it. Same, it assigns the value. Nothing else it is doing. Okay, so what they do is they just give the value. But we developers, we think like, we actually learn it like this. If you give the primitive variable a value, we say it is called by value. If you send a user defined data type, you say it is called by reference. But language works in the same way. What it does is whatever value is in the variable, it will give it off. But while learning, we learn like this. This is called by value, this is called by reference. We separate it off. Understood? But argument and parameter passing is same. Just it will give the value stored in the variable to the in the argument to the parameter. Just it will give the value. More than that, it will not do anything. Clear this now? Whatever value it is there, primitive value, reference value, it will not care. It will just give the value. But we learn it like that. This is called by value, this is called by reference. So here what we are learning now, it is called by value. So we'll see call by reference. I'll clear this. Yeah, in the last class I had used M1 method for sending the parameter of type what? Box. Let's see that. Yes. So now why did I keep my parameter of type box? Let us take a scenario like this. There are three variables. Int a is equal to 10, or int x is equal to 10, int y is equal to 20, int z is equal to 30. Now we'll understand why we use user defined data type as arguments and parameter. So these three values I want to send it to which method? M1 method. There are two options for you. If you want to send these three values to this method, I can write what? Int p, int q, int r. Four values I want to pass. One more parameter will increase. 5, it will increase. 6, it will increase. But one more thing is, see, here I am using all of same type. But sometimes later on you will understand the parameters will be heterogeneous type. One int, one double, one float. That scenario will come to you. When the parameters are of same type, I could have put all these values in an array and send. But now the scenario is, all these values are there, I want to send. Okay. So, but yes, if they are same type, I could have put in an array. Now you can say that. But assuming that you are, all these are different type, then it becomes a big headache. You can't use the array, because array consists of what? Similar data type. So that's why what we do, instead of increasing your parameters like this, okay, because see, today I'll have 3, tomorrow I might have 4, tomorrow, day after tomorrow I might have 5. Suddenly what will happen, I might want to increase or decrease. But as you go on increasing and decreasing, okay, the values you want to send, the parameter of the method has to keep on changing, no? Now that is very dangerous. You should not go on changing the parameter of the method every day. Today 3 parameters, tomorrow 4 parameters. Once a method is written, do not modify it, especially in the parameter, because when you learn a method now to use, you will only learn it once and you will be seeing, okay, if I pass an argument of this type, I will get this result. That's what you will be learning. But suddenly every day the method goes on changing with parameters, return type and all, I will not use the method. It becomes a headache. So we should not change the parameters every now and then. Instead what we do, all the values we'll put it into one user defined data type. Are you following now? Instead of going for this kind of a headache, what we do, you can design your data type now, like class box or class test, anything you design, put all these values into one user defined type. Okay, then you can send that as an argument. Over, no? Much easier, no? So what is the advantage of sending user defined data type as argument? You can send multiple values in one go. That is the advantage. You can send multiple values in one go, you can send it. Understood? And here what will be the parameter? No parameter headache, only one parameter is there. So put all the values into an user defined data type, send it. But here how will it work? Call by reference will work. Okay, here when you created the object, there is an object called as box now. I mean, it will be having all the construct and all that story will be there. You will be having the constructor here. The constructor will execute. Here, okay, parameter and constructor are having same name, no issues, no? Or shall I change the name? If you want, you can change it. I, J, K. So I, J, K values I wanted to send to this method. So instead of having 3 parameters here, P, Q, R, what did I do? I'll put the values into, what is the value we are sending? 10, 20, 30, no? So they are present here. Volume method will be there. So this address is 150. What we do now, after creating the object, I'll send it now. So that address will be given to Z. Z also will be referring to the same object. So this time it is called by reference. Are you following now? So now if I want, I can use it. See, I can use the value. I just am printing SOP Z, it will print the same address. SOP Z.W, it will print the same, means the value, that is 10. SOP Z.H. SOP Z.D, it will print the values. It will print 10, it will print 20, it will print 30. Here it will print 150, the address. Okay, then if I want, I can manipulate the values. Z.W into is equal to 2. How you want to modify? Into is equal, it will double the values. Z.D into is equal to 2. So what will happen now? It will become 20, 40, 60. Why am I manipulating the values? To make you understand, it is called by reference. Just there is no need for me to modify it. But I am clearly showing you this is called by reference. Because if I modify it here, earlier if you print here, what would have been the values? 10, 20, 30. But after you call the method here, in this line if you print b.w, b.h, what it will print? 20, 40, 60. That's all. So this clearly shows it is called by reference. So I sent 3 values from this method to, which is the caller method of main. From main I sent to M1. How many values I sent? 3. But I did not have 3 parameters here. Instead I put all the 3 values into one user defined data type and sent. That's it. So now I can use it here. Now how you use it's your wish, but don't try to manipulate it. If you manipulate, it is getting affected there also. Reason is it is called by reference. If you send the array also, same thing was happening, remember that? Same thing here also. Difference is only that was derived type, this is user defined type. Understood? So are you clear with this? Now in this method, how many values are there? 4 values are there. One is z, one is z.w, z.h, z.d. What is the value of z.w? Before changing it was 10. After changing z.w is 20. So totally there are 4 values. One means w, h and d are 4 int values, and one is a reference value of type what? Z. So totally there are 4 values in this method. Okay, let it remain. Now next, see, I can continue. See, assume that this is main method only. I am continuing with main method now. I'll create one more object. Box b1 is equal to new box of, I'll write some values like 5, 6, 7, and I can send this also to which one? M1 method. This time z will refer to which object? Again when you call this method, see now again what has happened, one more object has got created, w, h and d is there. What are the values of w, h and d? 5, 6, 7. The construct will execute, remember that. So I want to send another 3 set of values to which method? M1 method. So how will I send? I'll call M1. This time I'll give the address of, this is B1 which is 250. So now again we are calling h.m1. So what is the value given to z now? 250. So z will be referring to this address now. Means see, every time you call the method, z is coming to existence. As soon as the method completes existence, z is destroyed. So once it came into existence, here it came into existence, here z was referring to this object. Now after that method completes execution, now again you are calling the method. Now you are giving a new value to z, that is 250. Now z is referring to this address. So I am sending another set of value. That's the meaning now. Or I am sending another set of value. What are the set of values I am sending now? 5, 6, 7. As simple as this. Are you getting it now? Like this you can go on sending any number of values. It's not that only one box I can send. I can send any number of box objects. But we are sending box objects, but in box we are having multiple values. 3 values will be having. Are you clear with this? So again I can write one more box. B2 is equal to new box. Again I can call h.m1. I can send those values. So that's the idea. Once you write a method, for that method will be containing logic. That method will be containing logic. For that logic to execute, you have to supply values. So like this, what you do, you put the values, call the method. You put the values in an object, send the values. Put the values in an object, send the values. This is the whole idea of programming. Are you clear with this? Are you clear with this? Okay. So this is what is happening here. Fine. Now, let's come back to this program now. Let's forget B1 now. Let's forget B1. Now I'll have one more variable here called as box b1 is equal to null. Just I'm telling you, I'm declaring a variable, still it's not an object. But b, one second, I'll do like this now. Box b comma b1. There are 2 variables. I'll initialize only b. I'll initialize what? Only b now. All this will go away. Just I'm changing some, making minor changes there. Box b and b1 are there in the declaration. B I am initializing, one object is created like that, I'll send the address to this. So when the M1 method is invoked, I can use I can use Z. So here how many values are there totally? 4. One is reference value Z. One more is what? 3 more are what? Int values. So now in these 4 values, I can return any value to this caller. Which value you want to return, you decide. If I want, I'll say return Z.w. That time return type becomes what? Int. If I say return z.w, it is of type int. There are 4 values, you notice here, w, h and d plus z also is there. So if I return z.w, here who should accept? Int p or something like this you can accept. But if I want one more interesting thing now, I can return z also. So I can return z. Return type of this method becomes what now? Box. It is not mandatory that you have to send box and return box. There is no rule like that, understood? But just I am showing you, I can return box from this method also. So now look at the signature of the method. It is box is the return type. This is not a constructor now. M1 is the name. Don't get confused with such kind of methods. M1 is the name. Box is the return type. This one is parameter. So when you call this method, you can accept. So who will accept? B1. Earlier B1 was not initialized now. but now it will be initialized. Now b1 will also be referring to which object? Same object. b1.w will print you 20 now. b1.w will print you 20 now. So you should understand now, you can work with a reference variable only and if refers to the object. And a variable can refer to an object under many conditions. One, you can allocate new memory here and give that address to the variable. Or two, we can give existing memory to the variable. So you can see there is only one object, notice. But I have used three variables to refer to the same object. Notice that also. Earlier we are doing now b1 is equal to new box, b2 is equal to b1, b3 is equal to b2. Same process has happened here now. That's how we saw locally. But here what's happening? I send some value from caller to callee. Again I am giving a value from callee to caller. And here you have to understand only concept. You don't ask me what is the use of it. You just understand what do you mean, what is the concept here. When you send a user defined data type from caller to callee, call by reference. Similarly when you send a value from callee to caller, it is also call by reference, provided it is user defined data type. So this concept you have to understand here. What is the use? Yes, obviously we are trying to send and return multiple values. We are trying to send and return multiple values. Do you have any questions here? Understood. In the previous class what I had done, I had written two methods. M1 was having return type as void. M1 was having return type as void. Okay, but in this example I am showing you both. Parameter also box, return type also box. In the previous last class what I had done, M1 was having only parameter like this. Then I think I had written one M3 method where no parameter was there but return type was box. That's what I am telling. Anything can happen. Okay, your argument can be anything, your parameter can be anything, your return type can be anything. You can write your code, but how you write will depend on the logic. Simply will not have argument, simply will not have parameter, simply will not have return type. All will depend on the logic you go on to write later. But logics will write later. First learn to send arguments, parameters and accepting return type. First learn that. Logic writing is very easy. Once you get the three values here, you can do anything with that three value. Remember that. Understood. Similarly, when you return three values, again the caller method can do anything with those three values. You can do anything. Understood. So do not bother about writing logic. Focus on how to send arguments. Clear this? Shall I type and show you this now? Okay. What I'll do is in the same method I'll have the return type as what? Box. Possible. That is your wish, man. Depends on the logic you write. Clear this? Yeah, any questions here, ask. Any questions you are having, ask. This is very crucial. And it is not mandatory I have to return set here. I'll remove this. Valid. Okay, this method now return type will become void, correct. But if I return z, then return type will become box. Whatever you return, you specify the return type. And who will accept now? A variable of type box only should accept, because it's giving reference value. Now that this particular reference value can be stored only by a variable of type box only. This reference value what you are giving now, it cannot be accepted by a variable of type test and all that. It can be accepted by a variable of type box only. That's what I am doing. B1 equals. Are you clear with this? So all the three variables are referring to the same object. Initially when I showed you in the simple method, B1 is equal to new box, B2 is equal to B1, B3 is equal to B2, you didn't understand. You are thinking what is the use of all this? But now you can see gradually we are trying to use that concept now. Still more clearly you will understand when I go on programming ahead how vital this concept becomes. In the next set of examples you will understand. There are plenty of examples I will give. So many examples I will give. So you will get the perfect idea about what is programming now. It's not like one example we will finish off. We'll build on these concepts. More examples we'll see and we'll build on these concepts. Perfectly you'll get the idea now. Understood? So theoretically I classified in the beginning of the class call by value, call by reference and all that. Now we are saying it programmatically. Both are important. Theoretically also you should be clear. Programmatically also you should be clear. Clear? So here I have sent the argument as box type. If you want you can send it as test type also. All that is correct. See if you want we'll write these methods today. Possible this is also the condition. You can have methods like this now. So it can be like anything. You can have a fun method Fun method parameter can be what? Box. Return type can be what? Test, valid. You can write anything. Okay, but here return type should be compulsory test. Now why I want to return test? Because I want to return two values. So here I'll get the three values, SOP, Z.W and all that I can use. Here we are printing. Not assuming that there are some two new values here I want to return. So what will I do? Like example, int L is equal to 5, int M is equal to 6. So what will I do now? Can I return both these values to the caller? Both the values separately? No. What will I do? I'll put it into one. Test T is equal to new test L and M, correct? Return T, over. So now we are returning two values. So in this method, how many values are there if you notice? 7 values are there totally. How many values? 7. What are the 7 values? Z is one reference value, T is one reference value. 2 reference values. 3 primitives plus 2 primitives. 5 primitives and 2 reference values. So in your writing method, observe the number of values. Understood? Here there are 2 reference here, Z and T. I can return 2 reference values, or I can return WH and D, that is 3 primitive, or L and M. So totally L and M is 2 plus 3, 5. 5 primitive values, 2 reference values. Return. Depending on your return type, write the return type here. Depending on what you are returning, the value what you are returning, write your return type. Now you are understanding how much return keyword is becoming important. Return is the most important keyword for the developer. That's why I took so elaborately that class. That time when I was taking that class, you are not following why I am taking so much in depth on return keyword. There are valid reasons. So we know exactly what is used how much. So the things which are used more, we stress. So when I stress, you should understand the importance on this. So similarly, I am stressing what now? Call by reference. You pay more attention to this. When I stress, it means very important. Did I pay more attention to literals? Did I pay more attention to what? Some few things we saw earlier. Okay, I didn't pay more attention, but for some things I go on paying more attention. Understood? When I pay more attention means stress. When I give more stress, it means they are very important. You have to work a lot on that. And in the class you'll understand everything. I'll also type and show fine. You'll see the video fine. But that doesn't mean that you have understood. You have to put it to practice. That is, coding is mandatory. Without coding you can't learn here. Because you should get hands-on experience. So everything you have to code. You have to make notes. After writing notes you have to go and work. That is mandatory. My class definitely will understand. There is no doubt about it. It's flawless class. Yes or no? It will compile and execute. Here only it's compiling. Here only it's executing for you. I don't have to switch on the projector, type and show. But when you sit to type, definitely you have to practice. Otherwise later on you'll find difficulty. Understood? It is an easy language. But the reason is why it becomes difficult. You don't make it. You don't practice that. That's the reason why the language has become difficult to you. Understood? So are you clear with this? Fine. Shall I clear all this now? I'm telling you very clearly, put your basics right. Later on, definitely things will become very easy for you. Very, very easy for you. See, this is your class box. Yes? This is your class box. Clear this? It's having 3 instance variables, 1 constructor with 3 parameters, 1 volume method. Similarly, there is one class test. It is having 1 constructor and 1 M1 method. So now, we'll start writing some methods here. M1 is there. What is M1 doing? It will accept an argument of type box. And you can use the value. Printing it is nothing but using the value. If I want, I can modify the value. But if you modify here, that side also values will be affected. Because we are modifying it in the address. Understood? We are modifying it in the object. Since you modify it in the object, definitely it will get affected on the caller method side also. If you modify anything in calling method, definitely it will affect in the caller method also. Are you clear with this? So see this, I'll show you now. This is main method. Box B is equal to null. I'll declare one more variable. Box. We'll finish off with this. So now what I'll do is value of b is, and I'll call m1 method now, and I'll send b as an argument. Once I send, okay, before sending also you can print the values. See, this is the intention. Int I is equal to 10. Intention you understand clearly. The problem, int j is equal to 20. Int k is equal to 30. So I want to send these three values to the m1 method. So what should be my parameter? It will grow, no? There it should grow here. Instead of that, what I'll do, I'll have only one parameter. That's the advantage. I'll have only one parameter, and I'll put all these values into one user defined type now. I, j, k, valid now. And then what will I do? I'll print it. If you want, you can check. Then I'll send what? B. I'll send B. Means actually I'm trying to send what now? Three values. Which are the three values we are trying to send? 10, 20, 30. So it will come to M1 now. This M1 method it will come, and I can use those values. But if I modify, definitely it gets affected here also. You can see after calling the method, I'll print the values. It will be modified. Clear? One second. Here my calling. Okay, let's compile now. You can see initially it is 10, 20, 30. You can see the address. 1 second. I'll just clearly show it to you. You can see the prints. Earlier it is address 10, 20, 30. I'll call the B method. Now in Z, what are the values? 10, 20, 30. Address of Z is same. 10, 20, 30. I'll modify. After modifying, the value in Z is what? 20, 40, 60. I'll return. Sorry, I'm not returning any value. After that, again I'm printing these three statements now. So it prints 20, 40, 60. Call by reference, that's why. Okay, now from this method, if you want, you can return all the values. From M1 method, I can return. What do you want to return? You decide. How many values are there inside this method first? 4. 1 reference value, 3 primitives. So you should know the type of value also. Based on that, you can return. So if I want to return 20, I'll say z.w. If I want to return 40, I'll say z.h. If I want to return 60, I'll say z.d. Like that. What you want to return, that you decide. Okay. So, but I want to return all the values z. Okay, first I show you z.w. So when I return z.w, what is the value I'll be returning? 20 value. So I can accept here. Return type, I'll change it. It becomes int this time. So now when I call M1 method, int y is equal to, and I can print value of y is. So where is value of y now? 1 second, I'll just highlight it. I put some plus so that it gets highlighted. So see, here value of y is 20. That's the value I return from the callee to caller. Are you clear this? Okay. No, but I want to return all the values. So I can say return z. So the return type becomes box. Here, see, there is no need of returning box. Anyway, you are having the reference to that same box object here. If I want to access 20, 40, 60, where I can access? In B only I can access now. There is no need of returning box. But just I am showing you, like whatever you want you can pass, whatever you can have it as return type. There are 4 values there. You can do anything with that. You can have it as return type or use it only locally. That's your wish. Understood? If I really want to work with 20, 40, 60, what should I do? I can use B here now. Directly I can use. Okay. No. I'll accept it in B1 now. B1 also will refer to the same object. It's end of the day, nothing I'm doing but returning 3 values. But how did I return? By returning box type. So the return type becomes what now? Box. and I can print the values in B1 now. What will the values be now? 20, 40, 60. Are you clear this? This is your wish. If you want to return, return, else leave it. Are you following now? But understand the method signature here. Do not get confused with these methods. What is the meaning of this method now? Method name is M1, argument what it will accept is box, return type what it is giving you is box. That you understand, signatures. Understood? Sometimes it will be so, the case will, okay. If the case will be you want to send multiple values. That time you can use comfortably returning user defined data type or sending user defined data type. Clear? So now if I want, I'll print values of, I'll print the values. What will I print? B1.w and all that will print. Last will print. wn, B1 is, B1 is, B1 is. For this some plus I'll put. So this will be the print statements of B1. Earlier B1 was null, no? We have not declared only. 1 second. Earlier what is B1? Is null. I cannot work with B1. But now you can say it will be initialized. See 20, 40, 60. Can you see this? Yeah? Okay. Now with this in idea, you can write anything now. Okay. So if you want, I can write M2 method. M2 method will accept as what now? Test type. It will accept an argument of type test. What is the return type? Void. Fine. Not an issue. It's not that you should have return type as int or anything. If you want, have it. Else, leave it. That depends on your logic. Clear? Do you have any questions in this method now? No? Okay. Do you have any questions in this method now? Assuming that I am having 3 values here. Now you see the method like this. It will be clear. Int. I'll write L is equal to 9. Sorry, I'll take int P is equal to 9. Int Q is equal to 9. Second. See now there are how many values here? 3. Now 3 values can I return to the caller method? Impossible. So all these 3 values what I'll do now? I'll put it into one user defined type and return it. Correct now? So all I do, box M is equal to new box of, I can write P comma Q comma R. I'm following the rules of Java now. What am I returning now? M. There are 4 values now. 1 reference value, 3 primitives. So which value you want to return? Decide. So I can return. Once I return, what will happen now? When I call M3 method here, this is very interesting. What will happen now? When you call M3 method, you're not called M3 anywhere? Okay, I'll call here. So this is the main method now. We'll call M3. Okay, and we should have to send any argument for that? No. Correct. But return type of this would be what? Box. Initially it is null, no? Initially what is box doing? It's saying a value of null. So but if I say B is equal to, what happens now? We are returning 3 values now. As simple as this. So if you want to return multiple values also, you can put it into one user defined data type and return it. So Java supports returning multiple values, but in this way. We are still following the rule. See, all the languages, C, C++, Java, they follow the same syntax. They can return only one type of data. They can return only one type of data. Okay, data type is one, but values can be multiple. So we take the advantage of that. You are getting it now? We can return only one data type, but values can be many. So what we do, all the multiple values, we'll put it into one data type and send it. Understood? This is the idea. So what I'll do now in M3 method, I put all the values into one data type. I'm still following the rule. Return type of a method can be what? Only one data type. Understood? So here also we are accepting. Who is accepting now? It should be same. Perfect. Understood? Multiple values we can return by putting it into a single data type. Understood? Clear this? Now why only one data type we can return means, because see, if I return multiple values in multiple data type, how will you accept here? Where is the question of accepting? When you return something, it can be accepted by only a single variable. Why? Because we are using a assignment operator here. So how will you give now? It cannot give. Arguments you can send many, parameters you can send many, but return type only one. Are you clear? Now what happens? You can execute the program now. After the method is M3. So in M3 method the value is 999. The value of W in B after M3 is 999. So I return multiple values from callee to caller this time. So in this method, what you saw M3 method now, return type is box, but there are no parameters. Following now? Clear this? Any questions you are having here? Understanding call by value, call by reference? Any questions you are having? Ask. This is a very important topic. No questions, but it is pretty easy here. The same if you try to do in any language, it is very, very difficult. As I keep telling you, in C, C++ and all, this is a big headache. Sending user-defined data type is a big headache. Understood? First of all, designing it is only complicated there. Then using it is more complicated. Then sending it as argument parameter is still more difficult in those languages. Understanding also difficult. User-defined data type. Writing it is also difficult. Using it is difficult. Argument parameter return type very difficult. And on top of that, pointers. So much of headache is there. Here that concept of pointer is hidden, and they very clearly, crystal clear, they tell it is reference variable. A variable can refer to only one particular type, they say. This variable can refer to this type. This variable can refer to this type. Box B. B can refer to only box. Test T. T can refer to only test. Very clear. But there full confusion is there. When you look at your code, you will never know which variable is having what kind of value. I will write something like this. Int pointer P on the top will be there. Suddenly after 100 lines of code I will be writing something like this. P is equal to address of I. What do you understand by this? Are you following now? But here, okay, on the top I will write box B. 100 lines down the line. Okay, I will write B is equal to new box. It's very clear. You have created an object of address, and that address you have stored it in B variable. You know how to work with B now. Things are very clear here. So you don't have any difficulty in working with your data types and variables. Their data type also confusing, variable naming also confusing. On top of that, pointer is still more confusing. So understand the luxury what the language is giving to you. So then you'll understand the benefits of all this. Clear with this? Clear? We'll see more examples now. These examples you have to type today. Okay, these examples you have to type. How many methods you write, that good it is. Understood? How many other methods you write, that beneficial it is for you. Long back you wrote multiple methods, but there you are sending primitives, array. Understood? Now you can continue. Write the methods. Don't bother about logic. Okay, return type is very, very important. Return type is so important in programming. You will not believe. So important it is in return type. Okay. Most of the methods in Java will be having a return type. 99% of your methods in Java have a return type. 99%. So you should know how to accept the return type very carefully. Yeah? Okay. And accepting it is very simple. You should have the same data type that side. Understood now? Okay. So what we'll do now, yes, I'll write on class, see this. See, till now we are writing all the code in the class containing what? A main method. Means we are writing the methods in the class containing main method. See, first of all, initially when we started coding, we are writing all the code in main method. Then slowly eliminated and put the code into methods. But those methods are kept in the class containing main method. Now we have to eliminate them from there and keep it into separate classes. Understood? All the code you should not keep it in methods of main class. Okay, we go on splitting it into many classes. Why we keep it in multiple classes? Because when for reusability becomes easy for you. When you want to use that code, now only create that object. Like we wrote the class, maths class, which arithmetic class, trigonometry class, interest class. What's the advantage of writing multiple classes? Which code you want, only bring that into existence. Unnecessarily, why do you want to write all the code in a single class and bring it into existence? So you want which code in which class, write it there, only bring that code into existence. Create object, bring it into existence. So that's why we should always write code in other classes. Understanding the concept now? Nobody will write the code only in main method. So you'll write in methods, but all the methods were in the class containing main. This is also wrong. So what we do? Start writing in other classes. So I'll show you now, 1-2 classes I'll show you, then you can write. See, write this class hello now. Now see this, first we'll work with primitives here again. First I'll go with a very simple method, void m1. Write maximum, minimum 12 to 15 methods you have to write today. Minimum. And start up with the very normal basics. No parameter, no return type. Don't make it confusion. Start with the very basics. Void m1. So inside m1, finished. That's all. So in this class, no headache only, no argument, no parameter. So how to use this class now? See, this is class demo. We are having 2 classes now. So to call that method, what will I do? Hello h is equal to null. I declare one variable. After declaring the variable, what will I do? I'll create the object. See, can I call that method without creating an object? No. First I have to bring that code into existence. So as soon as I say h is equal to new hello, one hello object gets created. Right now there is only one method, don't worry. We'll add more methods into it. So this is m1, this is h object. Address will be what? 150. Some new memory will be allocated. New memory gets allocated, the default constructor executes, and in that class there is an m1 method. Return type is what? Void. Fine. After creating the object, I can call now h.m1. It will execute or not? Finished. A very simple class. In this class there are no instance variables, no constructor. I did not write any argumented constructor. Understood? So nothing is there. There is just one method, valid class. It will compile, it will execute also. Do you have any questions with this? So slowly we'll build now. I'll send only one primitive type. See this. Void m2 int a, valid code. Valid, and I can say SOP inside m2 inside m2 you can continue value of a is, that's your wish, whatever you want to print. Over. But what is the concept? I am sending one primitive value 1. So how will you send now? So I can say h dot m2 and send a value 10. Fine, perfect. So now when you this time when you have a class like this, when you create an object, how many methods will be there in your object? 2 methods will be there. One is m1, other one would be m2. So how is your class? Same way the code will come into existence. Now who becomes the caller? Main method becomes the caller, m1 becomes the callee. From caller, you see from this point, caller wants to give a value to callee. The value is there in int p is equal to 10. Send now h dot m2 p. The value of p is given to a. That's it. Caller wants to give the value to callee. Callee does not want to give the value to caller. Fine, return type void. Clear? More. We'll first work with primitives. Void m3 int a double d, valid. I can send anything. So send 3 values, SOP inside m3. If you want, you can have 2 print statements. SOP value of a and d, or write it in a single line, that's your wish. Now you know how to call this method. So this time when you create the object, m3 will have what? Int a double d. So like this, when you create a box hello object, whatever you have written, that code comes into existence, and you can keep on calling any methods now. H dot m1 is address now. This is H object now. Call it H dot m1, H dot m2, H dot m3, anything you call. Okay, now int return type now. M4, no parameter, fine, valid. Okay, write whatever logic, but compulsory see to that you are returning a int value. So int a is equal to 5 SOP inside M4 return a. You return a int, that's it. You can have more variables, say int, double, float, you can have everything you can have, but finally return type should be what? Int. Okay, now one more. Int M5 int a, valid now. Parameter should be of type int, return type should also be of type valid. So how will I write? Okay, SOP inside M5 value of a is plus a, SOP you can print, but all this is okay. Return type is mandatory now. What is the return type? Int. So I can return the same value. Return a only I can do, or I can say a into is equal to 2. I'll double it and then I'll return. See, write what logic you want here, that is secondary. Return type should be int. So now when I call M5 method and if I send 5 as an argument, return type will be there, int z, but this will be 10. Z value will be 10 because we are doubling it and return. Understood? But it's a different value. It's a totally different value. Z, A is different, this 5 is different. Okay, I'll send P otherwise. H dot M5 of P. What is the value of P? 10. P is different, A is different. Now the value of A gets modified. It is 20. The value of A is given to Z. This is a different copy. All are different copies. A is different, P is different, Z, here P is different, there A is different, here Z is different. They are all working with different values. They are not working with the same address because it's called by value. Clear? More methods you can write. M6. I'll write return type as int M6. Int A, int B, int C. Right. Write what logic you want. That is irrespective. 3 parameters. Return type is what? Int. You can have one boolean also. That is okay. I'll write one. Boolean C. Valid. Anything. 2 parameters of type int, 1 of type boolean. Return type is int. Do whatever you want, but it should return an int. So I'll write logic like this. You can print SOP inside M6. You can print value of ABC, that is your wish. Finally, you have to write, supposingly SOP A you print, SOP B you print, SOP C you print, that is your wish. But finally you have to return. I'll write something like int Z is equal to 99, return Z. So that time return type becomes int, or I can write return Z is equal, int Z is equal to anything you do. A plus B, it will return you the sum of A plus B. That's your wish. But how do you call this? H dot M6 of 10, 5, false. Return type will be int. Okay, I can use the same Z. Or you can go for another variable, int Y. So what will be the value of Y now? 10, 5, false I'll send. M6 gets executed. So A and B are adding. That is 15. That value is stored in Z. You are returning what? Z. So the value of Y will be what? 15. Valid code. Concept is what? How to send primitives as arguments. Clear? Shall I clear this? Now I'll bring user defined data types here. I didn't write all these methods in the class containing main method, observe. I've written all these methods in a different class. Shall I clear? You want me to type anything and show here? This you can manage. If you have doubts in user defined type, ask, I'll type and show. This any doubts anywhere? No? You can manage? Okay, fine. I'm going to clear all this now. Shall I clear all this? Right, many methods. Boolean you try, float you try, double you try, auto promotion rules you know. But don't work with float. Int, double, Boolean work more. I would recommend you to work more on int, double, long also. You can work. Int, long, Boolean, double. Other data types very rarely we use. Byte, chart and all don't work also. Okay. We are not using it practically. But there's one more thing. You have to learn all that from SCJP point of view. In real world we don't use all that. Understood? But from SCJP point of view you have to learn it. That's one thing you have to understand. One is exam point of view, one more is practical implementation point of view. Means when we work in companies, what we use extensively. So what you prepare for exam, that's only one time. After clearing the exam, over. But practically, if you forget byte, chart, int, passing argument and all that, not a problem. Practically, because we use extensively long, double and all that. So that's what you're only from exam point of view, keep focusing on that. If you are ready, means when you are ready to write an exam, now that time work more on those examples. When you are ready, when you think that you want to write the CJP exam, that time pay more attention to it. When you just want to work in your real life, do not bother much about it. Clear? So balance it. Otherwise, say what will happen now? You will not understand how much to remember, how much not to remember. That's why very clearly I tell of what is very important from what point of view. Okay. Class hello now. Fine. Next. See void. I'll use the same method names. I forgot what all I have used. But if you want, you can continue. I finished with M6 now. Okay, we'll continue with M7 now. We'll continue with M7. Okay. Void M7. Box Z. SOP Z.W, Z.H, Z.D. Valid now. I can modify. See now, carefully observe. We are not having the method in the same class. This is the most important subject of Java now. Class hello is having an M7 method, but it is asking for an argument of type box. So for this example, you need two classes. One class hello class, box class. Because without defining a user defined data type, how will you use it? So first define it. You know how to write the class box now. Write it. Now to call M7, first what you should do? Now how do you execute this method first of all? Carefully see this now. And now if I say hello h is equal to new hello, can I call this method h.m7 method? I cannot call. To call this method what I need? An argument of type box. Are you getting it clearer now? To call this method I need an argument of type box, otherwise I can never call. Try to call it, error. Try to call it, error you will get. Okay, because you are not sending any argument. So what I'll do now I'll write box B is equal to null. H dot, see first what has happened, one hello object has got created first. And in this hello object there is one M7 method, parameter is of type box, return type is void, SOP Z.W, Z.H, Z.D, Z.W into is equal to 2, Z.H. The same code will come into existence here. Same code has come into existence. So first hello object was created, address is 150, valid. Then next I'm creating which object? Box object. So when box object gets created, this is B now. Address is 250. But you know new. Sorry, here now it is null. Now it is null. But as soon as I write B is equal to new box, 1, 2, 3, if I write, what happens? New memory is allocated. It will also have WHND. It will have constructor X, Y, Z. It will have volume method. Same story. Okay. So new memory will be allocated. The constructor gets executed. The values of 1, 2, 3 are passed to the constructor. These values will be stored into 1, 2, 3. So we have created two objects separately. H is on different object. Box is on different object. See these two lines. We just created box object. This address is 250. We created an hello object. Now after creating hello object and box object, now I should call M7 method and send B as an argument, valid or not. Understood? The value of B is now given to what? Z. What is the value of B? 250. This address. That is given to what? Z. Perfect. Valid code. Highly valid code. So till now we are writing the class in main method, class containing main methods. Sorry. Till now we are writing methods in the class containing main method. Yes. Okay, we are writing all the methods in the class containing main method. We don't write all the methods in the class containing main. We write in other classes also like this. In other classes also you can send. You can send your data type as argument to any method in any class. Simple as that. You can send your data types as argument to any method in any class. In the previous examples you are saying I was passing primitives now. Is there any restriction you should pass the primitive values to methods present in the class containing main method only? No. When you are having a primitive data type, in your application you can use it anywhere. There is no restriction. If there is a restriction, then what is the use of defining the data type? Understood? So once you have your data type, it can be used anywhere throughout your program. Similarly, your user defined data type can be used anywhere. There is no restriction. So I'm using it here now. So what we are trying to do is here, we are trying to give the value stored in box object to hello object. That's what our intention is. We are trying to give the value stored in box object. What are the values stored in box object? 1, 2, 3. Those values I want to give it to hello object. Hello object can use it. Yes or no? Same thing. And you have heard one more thing. In colleges you might have read this statement, you wouldn't have understood. Now also you will not get the point, slowly you will get it later. Objects speak with one another. One object can speak with another object. You quite often hear it, but you don't know the meaning of it. This is the meaning. Hello object is not speaking with box object. Hello object is now speaking with box object. Means objects communicate with one another this time. This point you will understand later. Okay, if you are not getting it now, forget it. But here what was my intention? I wanted to give the value stored in box object to hello object. I gave it by as simple as this. Understood now? That's simple. Other way of giving the values would have been like this. H dot M7, you should have 3 primitives here. And then you should have sent the values like this. My intention is what? I want to give the value stored in box object to hello object. So it should have been like this. B.W, B.H, B.D. Correct now? One way means your parameter of M7 should be what now? Int X, int Y, int Z or int P, Q, R. My intention was to give the 3 values stored in box to M7. So instead of making it like this and sending B.W, B.H, B.D, what did I do? I sent the reference of the box one. Much better now. See, I want to give values to that method which are there in box. This is much better. Instead of doing it like this, see, one option is this with this. Other option is void M7 box Z. This with this, the combination. This one and this is 2. Which one is comfortable, you tell now? One is much better. Java is giving you a luxury for it in an easy way. Send it, it says. Are you clear with this? Are you clear? I'll type and show you this if you want. Okay, are you clear with this? And once it is sent, I can use it. Now Z can use all the values. You modify, it is affecting B. Same rule. It is called by reference. Because I gave the address of this object to Z. If Z is trying to manipulate anything in the object, it is definitely affecting B. Earlier values in B were 1, 2, 3. But now it will be 2, 4, 6. If you multiply it, Okay, it will be multiplied by 2, which is 4. This will also be multiplied by, sorry, this is 2, this will be 4. 3 into 2 is 6. So these will be the values. 2, 4, 6 will be the values. Latest values will be, instead of 1, 2, 3, it will be overwritten to 2, 4, 6. If you modify. Now whether you modify or not, it's your headache. But I'm just showing you how to send an object to another object. Clear? It's the same. Only thing is the method is in another class. Just understand this. Clear this? Now how many values are there inside this method? 4. 3 primitives, 1 reference. If I want, I can return what? Z. Or I can return z.w. That will continue. But let us keep it now like this itself. So my signature of the method will look like what? Clear? Okay, now I'll write one more method, 2, 3, then I'll type and show it to you. Do you have any questions here?
Sir, can M7 directly call box?
Can M7
Directly call box?
directly call box?
That is, if I use box B inside M7.
100%. See this, that's what I'll do next. See this. Box M8. No parameter. Return type should be what now? Box. Do whatever you want now. But return type should be what? Box. So I can create an object of box in M8 also. It's not that you have to use box class only in main method. Is there any restriction that you have to use int float in main method? You can use it in any method of any class now. Similarly, you can use any class of what you have designed in any method of any class. Now what is the code you'll write here? You tell. Box B is equal to new box of, why did I do this first of all? I want to return 3 values from this method to that method. Let's take the 3 values. Int L is equal to 5. Int M is equal to 6. Int N is equal to 7. What will I do now? I'll put all the 3 values into box Z is equal to new box of L, M, N, and I'll return what? How many values are there here? 4. L, M and 3 primitives. M is reference value. 100% valid code. And when I call, see this is M8 method now what you are having. The return type of this is box. This is M8 method. So int M is equal to 6. No 5. Int LMN, no? Okay. L is 5, M is 6, N is 7. So I'll write box Z is equal to new box of LMN return Z. Fine. Now I'll call, see here first box B1 is equal to null. Is B1 referring to any object? No. But I'll call h dot M8. What happens? M8 gets executed. One object of box is created. What will be the values here? WHND, one more new object is getting created. XYZ parameter will be there. 5, 6, 7 is given to XYZ. From XYZ it is given to WHND. If you want, you can print the values here. SOP Z.W, Z.H, Z.D, it will print 5, 6, 7. Print the address SOP Z, it will print what address? 350, whatever address. Return Z, whom will it give it to now? To the caller. Who is the caller method? Main. Main can accept it and it will accept it in B1. Valid. Yes, B1 also will refer to the same object. Earlier it was null, now you check out. SOP B1.W, B1.H, B1.D. It will print you 5, 6, 7. Valid code. Any data type can be used anywhere. See, if there is any restriction that the data type what you design will be used in only one location, we will not take so much pain in designing the data type. Understood? If there is any restriction now on the usage of the data types, that language is a very weak language. We don't learn such languages. Understood? Because you are taking so much of effort in designing it, and end of the day it cannot be used here, it cannot be used there, restrictions come or no. It's very dangerous. No restriction. Any data type can be used anywhere. Simple as that. Clear this? Okay. Now, one more thing. Here only I'll modify it and show. Or okay, I'll write M9 method here. M9, int L, int M, int N. Return type is box. Valid code now. So what I'll do, write whatever logic in M9, that is secondary now. But return type should be box. Now see this. I'll write the code like this. Box B is equal to new box of LMN. Valid now. Finally return what? B. Valid or not? See here, no parameter but return type was box. Here, 3 parameters of type int, return type is box. Valid or invalid? Valid. I can use it. Now see, these 3 values I used to store it into box object. That's up to you. I'm not telling store LMN in box object only and return it. Write whatever logic. Or you use these values however you want and you create one object like this and return. That is your wish. I'm not telling you to put LMN in which one? Box and return. You have to return a box object. LMN you use it in what way, that is your story. You can get on boolean also. Boolean B, boolean Z, or boolean Z, float F, double D. Get how many values you want to get. That's your story. But return type should be box. Now one more, M10 method. Parameter is box. Return type is test. Valid. Valid now. And work more on this. Arguments, parameter, return type is very, very important. And if you know how to send a class as an argument, no. Subclass, abstract class, interface are all same story. You will not find difficult there. It will be very easy for you. One data type you learn, just one data type. Which one? Class data type. How to send it as argument, how to have it as return type. One data type you struggle. All data types will become easy for you because this is the first time you are putting effort for sending a user defined data type as argument. More methods you can write. See this M11 method. Return type is void. Parameter is test T, box Z. Valid now. Just I am writing the signature. You can send to user defined type. Parameter return type can be what? Void. Anything. Or else have a box and test. Return type will be double. Fine. Anything you can do. There's no restriction here. But here you might be thinking, what is the use of passing so many kind of different arguments? I'm not focusing on what's the use of it. I'm just showing you how to send it and how to return. Later on when I write logics, you'll understand the importance of this. So practice it so that when you write logics, we will not be worried about call by value, call by reference and all that. Understood? You'll not worry on that. We'll blindly be coding now. Easily. So easily you'll be coding that you'll not have to bother about all this. Syntax, errors, all that you'll not bother. So freely you'll code. Clear this? Shall I clear all this now? So if I want, I'll show you M7, M8, any method I can show you. Which one you want me to show? Coding. Huh? M? M8 you want me to show. Fine. Then you M7 also I'll show, M8 also I'll show. What is that? I'll copy paste. That's it. Okay. Is it clear to you? Shall I clear everything on the board? Any other signature you want? Any other permutation and combination you want? That also I'll type and show. You tell the parameter list, you tell the return type. I'll type it. What is the parameter list you want? Apart from these two, M8 you want. Okay, I'll show you that. Apart from this, what parameter list you want, what return type you want, you tell. Huh? M11. Sending test and box. Okay, then test T, box Z, comma, int, boolean also I can send. You can send, I'll show you. Okay, but we'll try it out now. What signature you want, you tell. Give me the parameter list, give me the return type, we'll get the output. Same, you should try. Now I'll do it for you. Some 3-4 methods I'll do. Okay, you can add in between an array also. Return type can be array. That you try. Understood? I've shown you arrays now, long back. Try it out. Okay, shall I clear everything now and we'll start typing? So this is a very crucial class. If you get this point now, call by value, call by reference. Developers so much they struggle. In Java, no, they struggle so much. But it is such a simple one. Not only in this language, in all languages they struggle to send user-defined data type as arguments. In every language they struggle. But Java is giving you this luxury now. And almost all, see, it's hardly 1 month. And so easily we are passing any data type as argument. Observe that. Any data type. Okay. In C, hardly you learn what? In 1 month, what you learn? Hardly you learn control statement for do while, that's all. Nothing more. Pointer also you don't have reached. So difficult to work there. But it is so comfortable coding here. Very comfortable. Clear? What is the class name I used here? Different data, argument and param demo. Different data, argument and parameter demo means call by value plus call by reference. You can write it off in the same program. First I start off with a simple method, void m1, a very simple method which I wrote. Done. How you call that method? As simple as this now. Nothing big thing about this. Inside M1. If you want, you can write one more method with M2. First practice simple M2. And here we are having parameter of type int now. If you want to call both the methods, that's your wish. Otherwise I'll call only M2 method. But if I try to compile now, error, because I have to send an argument of type int. See, it cannot be applied. So I have to send on int. So assuming that there is one value now, int p is equal to 5. Now this value I want to give from caller to callee. So what will I do? I'll send it like this. Now use there. That's your wish. Now that value is given. M1 cannot access P, but the value in P can be given to A. Use it. Are you clear? Any questions? So this is how you work with the primitives. More on primitives you can work now. Yes, which was the method you wanted? M7. No, M7 is okay. M7 is okay. See it off. Otherwise, void M7. See, I'm not writing. Okay, void M7. So you want class box now? So what you do? Use it. Class box, class hello, M7. First understand parameter. Don't neglect parameters. Done? Then what I'll do? 1 second. I'll copy this code from there only. That's it. So in M7 what will I do? I'll print all the values. Z.W, if I want I can print even Z also. Address will be same. Value of Z is Z. Z.W, I'll modify. After modification you can see. So this is M7 method. So what should I do now? To call that, I have to create an object of what? Box B. So the scenario is I want to send some 3 values. I want to send what? 3 values. So int P is there 5, int Q is there 6, int R is equal to 7. So to send these 3 values, what will I do? I'll put all these 3 values into one done. Box P is equal to new box, PQR. After putting these 3 values, now I'll call H dot M7 and I'll send B. But before sending, I'll print the values in B. Before sending it, I'll print the values in WHND. Then what I'll do, after sending it, then I'll print. Because I'm modifying there, it will get affected here also. Yes or no? See, first I'll print the value of WHND, it will be 567. I'll call M7. What is M7 method actually doing? Modifying. So definitely it will affect what? B, sorry. Correct now? Yes or no? You can see that plus. See, first WHND is, first initially it is 567, then in Z the address, okay, I didn't print the address here. If you want to print the address of what? Box, that address and this address will be same. Okay, if you want to print the address, it will be same. Now in Z it is getting modified. After modifying, you can see in after M7, we are printing B.WHND. It is modified. Yes or no? Okay. So M7 is clear. In M7 you want me to do anything? I can return box also. If I want, I can return. This also we can do. Possible. So that time return type will be what? Return Z. I can return Z.W also. That's my wish. So here, okay, let's come back now. So I'll have one variable of type box B1 is equal to null. Can I work with B1 now? Right now I can't work because it is null. So what will I do? H start M7. So that address I'll accept it in B1. So we'll do one thing, we'll print the address of B here. And you can see all of them are referring to the same object. Value of B is star, value of Z is star, little highlight, that's it. And value of B1 is, I'll print B also, plus I'll print B1 also, both I'll print. Value of B1 is plus B1. Now you can see the values. Yes, we'll compile and we'll execute. See, the address is same everywhere. Can you notice? All the variables are referring to the same object. And the values have been modified. In B1 also it is 10, 12, 12, 14 now. Earlier it was referring to null. That's your wish now. Are you clear? So the return type can be made as box like this. When you can do a return type like this box, now we'll come to your M8 method. Parameter, you want anything for M8? Do you want anything as parameter here? No. So very simple. See, this all I'll do is write whatever code you want. Box. Okay. See here there are three values. Int I is equal to 11. Int j is equal to 12. Say I want to return multiple values, but I can't return these three values. Instead, all these three values I put it into one data type. Box P is equal to new box of I comma j comma k. Finished, over. I can return one data type, but any number of values. That you understand. Values I can return multiple, but I should return only one data type. That very carefully you understand. So I'm returning now. So I'm returning only, I'm following the rule of Java. That's it, M8 method now. So now you can call M8 method. I'll take this code here. Th dot M8. After calling M8, what's the return type now? B1 is equal to valid. If I don't accept, I lose the value. After accepting, I can print all this. Okay, meanwhile, what you can do, you can print this also there. Where in M8, after creating the box object, you print it there. Value of B is all that you print. It will be the same address. And after printing 11, 12, 13 here, I'll comment off all this now. See this. Will not have any print statements. Are you clear? So M8 will be invoked. M8 will execute this, and three values are returned from M8 to this one, and it is accepted in B1. Fine. Reached end of while parsing. Int P is equal to some comment problem somewhere. Last, huh? So done. Now you can see. There also in B, the address is same, values are this. When I created the object and return in B1, address is same, values are same. This is valid. So any class can be used anywhere. It can be used as argument, it can be used as return type, or it can be used as a local variable. Simple as that. Here I have used box as a local variable. Here I have used box as an argument. Here I have used box as a return type. You can use it as argument, parameter, or local variable. Clear? Okay, any other signature you want to tell now? M9. What do you want to tell? Parameter list you give, return type you give. Parameter list first. Test you want. Test comma test x comma box box y, valid. Return type, any other parameter list? You want anything else? Parameter list, only test and box sufficient. Array also I can pass, int I can pass, boolean I can pass. What do you want? I know you'll ask for array. Which array? Int array. Yes sir? Valid. Return type, what do you want? One data type. Array you want? Int. Valid. Anything else? You tell first only then. Because this is the last method I'll type. Any other parameter you want? Here only I'll add, no issue. Boolean also you want. Boolean P. Anything else? Over? Okay. We'll do one thing. We'll remove all this. We'll send it to the bottom. Okay. But see, this is the signature what we are having right now. Where is the signature? Yeah. This is our M9 method in class hello. This is the signature. But I need two data types. First is test and one is box. Test is ready on the top. Sorry, box is there. What we need now? Test. So test you code, but I'll copy paste it, which is there in the previous program. I'll copy paste it. Done. So class box is there, class test is there first. Are you clear with these two? Okay, then M1 over, M2 over, M7 over. Yeah, we are focusing on M9 method now. Okay. So first, actually what you do always when you write some code now, this I have commented everything right now. In main method I have commented everything else. See, first you declare one array here, int. I'll have an array of type A is equal to, for arrays also we can give a value called as null. Understood? Return AUT. First check whether it compiles. Code later. First check whether it compiles. Return here. Okay. Hello H is equal to new hello. I'll just compile it. I'm not even calling the method. Perfectly it compiles. Syntax is correct. Later on, coding, compiling, execution. First the signature of your method should compile. Okay. Because here, by chance, you know this is invalid syntax. If this only is failing, you can't continue coding ahead. Understood? Because see, while return type, while declaring a variable, which one, that square bracket can be before or after, but not while return type. You know that rule now. So anyway, this is done. So, and if I had not returned, I would have got what? Error. Return type missing. So that's why what I did, I just declared an array there, and I'm saying returning. Are you following now? So fine. Next, we'll call this method h dot m1. Sorry, m11, no? m9. But to call this method, there's a big headache, because you have given me a very tough parameter list. Very tough parameter list. So what will I do? First what? First test. Test P is equal to new test of values 1 and 2. Valid. Next, box B is equal to new box of 5, 6, 7. Valid. Then I want an array int P. You know I can declare and initialize it in a single line, no? Yes or no? You can, or you can declare, create, working with array, you know. So I'll not do all that now. Just I'll say 100, 101, 102, 103. This one way you can one line you can write, or one more approach is there. I'll just simply finish it off. Int P. This way also I can do. P is equal to new int of 5. Then you can initialize P of 0, P of 1. All that I'll not do now. Understood? So declare, create and initialize, because we'll be wasting time now. So do it that way. But create, initialize, let P have the value. So then done. So then array is also ready. Next, what you have to prepare? Boolean. Boolean Z is equal to true I want to pass or false? True. If you want to print all these values and check here, t dot x, t dot y, b dot w, b dot h, all here. That side if you modify it will affect here. You know, call by reference will happen. So I will not talk about modifying it all now. I just send all the values. So if you want, you can. Okay, we'll print all the values. 1 second. Before this is done, I think we have completed the parameter list. Yes, we have to only send now. But before sending, we'll print all the values. We'll print all the values which we are going to send. If you want me to print, that is R&D. More print statements you print, more you'll understand. So print here also. At the same time, you can print here also. Okay, what is the parameter we used here? Okay, x, y. Here x is a variable of type what? T I'll take otherwise. What name I'll take? Any name you can take, same name you can take. X dot x will access. I can write box W. W is equal to new box. W dot W is valid now. Box W is equal to new box is valid. W is reference variable. Inside W there is one more W, that is primitive variable. That's also correct. So okay, I'll show you all that syntax now. So test X, Y, Z. All these are parameters here. Or if you are getting confused, should I change the parameters? P, Q, R, S? No issue. P, Q, R, yes. This parameter will be of type int. What was I having? A. Okay, this is different one. If you want, I can return the same array, or I can return a different array. If you want, you can return R only here. You are having R now. Or if I want, I can create another array and return. That is my wish. Okay. So fine. Print all the values here. See, before calling the method, I'll print all the values if you want. B dot W, B dot H. Then T I'll print. So like this you can print all the values. First check, then you'll understand the same values are going that side. Correct at T dot X and T dot Y. Other values, Boolean. This also in main head. Value of what is that? Boolean set. Then what else is there? Array you know how to print now? Iterate and print, man. I'm tired now of prints. Okay, so that's it. Now I'll call the M9 method. That's it. Print all the values and check. And to call this method, now look at the parameter list. P means box, sorry, first test, then box. This test is what here? T, no? Then box is what? B. Then array is P. Then this one is Z, valid. Return type you are still not accepting. If you want, you can accept it. Now these values will get here. Same thing will happen here also. What will you do? You can print all the values there also. Value of, what is this now? Plus Q dot W, Q dot H, Q dot D. Correct? Huh? In Q. In which method? M9. Correct? Huh? Are you following it? The same value you will find it here. Value of T in M9. in M9, yes. So all this you can put. So then value of z in M9 again is, sorry, value of, yes, sorry, this is not q, no, what is this? Value of t, value of x in p is plus p dot x, p dot y. This one is value of boolean s in M9 is plus, yes, all this done. Finally I have to return. I'll return some values here. Directly I'll return like this: 1, 2, 3. I'm returning a very small array. Following now? Write whatever logic you want. So return type will be what? An array of type int. You can return an array of double also. That's your wish. So when I call this method, I'll not accept it now. I'll accept it later. Let's print. Some semicolon missing, 91 and 119. So here one missing, 91. Here one missing. So let's compile. You cannot find symbol. Variable t in which line? 87, 105. 87. So here we are using t, which is not there. This is what? P, no? Yeah, plus p. One more place. Okay, test t is equal to new test, small t I have used. So that's it. So giving the answers now, you know how to code now. That's it. Then why are you asking me to send all the errors? See this. In main, these are the values. In M9, the same values we are getting. That's it. And I'm returning. And if I want, I can accept here. The return type should be what? An array int result, but it should be of type array. Result I'm accepting. After all that operation you'll get it. And again, if you want, you can put a loop for yes or no. Int x colon res, iterate and print. You'll get 1, 2, 3 here. Done now. That's it. It will print 1, 2, 3 in the last. Notice. It's printing 1, 2, 3 in the last. Whatever returned values. Clear this? So your signature can be anything. But now one interesting call I'll do. See this. All this is over now. You have a very interesting call. See this method now. If you want to call that method now, directly I can say, see here. Very interesting story. New test of 1, 2, comma. New box 5, 6, 7, comma. See this array I am sending? 100, 101, 102, comma, what? True. Highly valid code. Here what will happen? I cannot work with this 1, 2 in local. If I send an object like this, can I use 1, 2 in main method? I cannot use. There is no reference to that. Valid code. Yes or no? Are you following this? This is how we code actually later. Yeah? In one line only I can do of everything now. Why all this story? Yes or no? So Java's coding is so simple. So I'll say new test. Are you understanding this syntax? This is the first argument. The first argument is a reference value now. This will ultimately become a reference value. But I'm not storing that reference value. I'm sending it as argument. See, this is one more reference value. Fine, I'm sending it as argument. This is an array now, highly valid, and the last one is Boolean value. So we'll see how to work with this. I'll only print this one, for loop, because you are getting the return type now. Rest all values will print that side. So I'll comment off all this. So this is a highly valid code what you are saying now. So practice, this is how you code. So if you can do this, you're almost all done. You know Java now. Yes or no? Where to comment now? So this comment is a problem. Okay, I think it will be applied. Let's see. Okay, let's compile. I have to check for, or I'll delete this code 1 second. Comment problem and nothing else. Okay, we are not created object of hello. For illegal start of type. We'll do one thing, we'll put parenthesis. That should work. Somewhere on comma is missing now. Here this is this problem actually. Is valid actually, but we are finding problem with the array here. How to send it as an argument? Okay, I'll just remove this array and try to send it. Tomorrow we'll see this. If you want, I can send the array. Just I'm removing that array in the parameter list. Okay, this will go, no problem. Okay, I just removed the array. Everything is perfect. Only that array was giving the problem. That syntax of the array was giving the problem. Okay, rest all is correct here. Okay, that array syntax you have to see now, that's it. Okay, if you want, I can accept the return type. What you can accept? 1 second, just I'll put it for you again. Yeah, what I have done is just I removed the array in the parameter. This syntax, man. That syntax is the problem. We'll see that syntax. So value of x is, now see this will work, and I can get the values, return type also I can get. That's it. So just learn how to write this kind of a method. You'll understand how to send that also directly. See this I'll write void m10. You have an array here. Okay, and to this m10 method, forget all this now. Let's see how to send it. You practice this, you'll understand. I can say h dot m10, and we have to send what? Array. Practice like this first locally, then if it works, sorry, m10 now. Here only we are having problem. So first I think we have to say new int or something like this. I think the syntax we should find out. A new int. And I have forgotten the syntax for int actually.
ಮೇನ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಅದು ಇಂಟ್ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದು ಏನು ಅದೇ ಇರ್ತಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಅದೇ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮುಂಚೆನೇ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್.
That we can do. I want to do it here. First only we can declare and send it. But that is not the thing what I am trying to do. I am trying to write it in a single line like this. We can do it outside and send. I just now did it. That's not a problem. Okay. So but I just wanted to send it in a single call like this. So instead of declaring and doing it, you just practice this. Syntax will be comfortable. M10 of this is the value I want to send. I say here new I think int okay, anyway we'll see this too. This syntax I'll teach you tomorrow, that's it. Understood? The syntax,
signature of
yeah, what is that?
how will signature of our method looks like if we return variables
Array only.
array.
You want to return varargs, return type will be, varargs is for a parameter, not for return type. He is asking what is the, what will you write as a return type if you want to return varargs. It's simple. Varargs is always for parameter list. So this is m1. Here int dot 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 a. If I want to return a now, return type will be an array. Not a, sorry. The return type will be int, depending on what it is. Yeah? You cannot, varargs is always used in the parameter list. In methods, local variables you can't have varargs. But if you want to return the same varargs, return type will be array. Yeah? Okay, that we'll see. Tomorrow I'll show you. I think it is new int something, some syntax will come. That I'll show you directly how you can send. I'll check it out. Because we are used to coding in Eclipse. There we can find out the errors fast. We find it very difficult to code in Edit plus Notepad and all. Somehow I'm managing to teach you. Okay, that's it. Any questions you're having now? Practice all the possible list. Okay, all the best things you can, you pass as arguments. Okay, so if you know how to pass the class as the argument, return type, anything, argument, parameter, return type, abstract class, subclass, all will become easy and similar. So learn one data type, that's all I'm telling you. And if you know this, this is the key to programming in Java. This is the key to programming in Java, that's it. Okay, fine.
It's a class.